Queen Elizabeth II was interred at St. George's Chapel, which is where several other royal family members were laid to rest. Following Queen Elizabeth II's death on September 8, 2022, the late monarch was honored by the British royal family and various heads of state at her official state funeral at Westminster Abbey. After her funeral, which included a committal service alongside King Charles III and other British royal family members, the Queen was laid to rest at the King George VI Memorial Chapel. The monarch's final resting place is incredibly significant as it's where various other members of the British royal family have been buried over the years, including her parents Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother and King George VI. Additionally, as the Queen was inhumed, Prince Philip was moved from the royal vault beneath St. George's Chapel where he had been temporarily interred and put beside his wife of 73 years. Watch ahead to learn more about the British royal family's final resting places. Hello and welcome to Royal Scandal. Please do well to like, subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news updates. Number 1. Queen Elizabeth II. Queen Elizabeth II died on September 8, 2022 at Balmoral Castle and was eventually transferred to Westminster Hall for her lying in state. Following her state funeral at Westminster Abbey on September 19, which was the location of the Queen's wedding in 1947 and her coronation in 1953, Queen Elizabeth was interred at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. More specifically, she was buried at the King George VI Memorial Chapel, pictured below, which the Queen commissioned after her father's death. Number 2. Prince Philip. Following Prince Philip's death on April 9, 2021, he was temporarily interred at the Royal Vault beneath St. George's Chapel. However, after Queen Elizabeth's death, his coffin was moved to the King George VI Memorial Chapel at St. George's Chapel and put beside his wife. Number 3. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother died on March 30, 2002, and her lying in state took place at Westminster Hall for 4 days. She was then taken to Westminster Abbey for her funeral service before being laid to rest at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle. Number 4. King George VI. King George VI died on February 6, 1952, and his funeral service was later held at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle on February 15. Following the service, he was interred in the Royal Vault beneath St. George's Chapel. After his death, Queen Elizabeth commissioned the King George VI Memorial Chapel in 1962 as a burial place for her father. His remains were eventually transferred to the Memorial Chapel on March 24, 1969. Number 5. Princess Margaret. Following her death on February 9, 2002, Princess Margaret's funeral was held at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle on February 15, 2002. Which was the 50th anniversary of her father's funeral. Breaking from royal tradition, the Countess of Snowdon was cremated at Slough Crematorium. Her ashes were originally moved to the Royal Vault in St. George's Chapel before being transferred to the King George VI Memorial Chapel 2 months later. Number 6. King Edward VIII. King Edward VIII, the brother of King George VI who abdicated the throne, died on May 28, 1972. Following his funeral service at St. George's Chapel, Windsor Castle on June 5, 1972, he was buried in the Royal Burial Ground at Frogmore. Number 7. Wallis Simpson. Edward VIII's wife Wallis Simpson died on April 24, 1986, and her funeral service was held on April 29 at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle. She and Edward VIII were originally going to be buried at Green Mount Cemetery in Baltimore, where her father was interred, but through a 1965 agreement with Queen Elizabeth, they were both buried at the Royal Burial Ground. Number 8. Princess Diana. Following Princess Diana's tragic death on August 31, 1997, she was honored with a funeral at Westminster Abbey on September 6. That same day, Diana was taken to her final resting place at her childhood home, the Spencer Estate in Althorpe. She was originally going to be buried at the Spencer family vault in Great Brington, but her brother Charles Spencer later decided to take her to Althorpe as it was easier to be cared for and offered privacy for Prince William, Prince Harry and other relatives who wished to visit her. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.